What's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to go over Cleanspark. We're going to listen to a part from the call going over the 16 exahash target. We're also going to look at some recent analyst price upgrades, as well as a look at the chart. So I'll give you my thoughts there as well. But let's get into this Cleanspark video. Ticker symbol CLSK. Consider hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. It definitely helps me out a lot. Consider checking out the links down below for some free stocks and cryptos. And if you want to show your support, consider joining my membership for $2 a month. Now let's take a look at Cleanspark stock. Now first off, this recent article, Cleanspark has received positive ratings, and this is after earnings. The analysts that tuned in there like what they heard. Now one analyst we have with an increase in price target is Chardon Capital. We'll look at tip ranks in a second, but previously they had a $5 price target. Well, they raised their price target on Cleanspark from 10 to 11, according to this, but if you look on tip ranks, it was previously a 5. But regardless, now they have an $11 price target. Also looking at BTIG, they raised their price target from 8 to 10. Now currently, Cleanspark holds an average rating of buy with an average price of $10. And as I've mentioned before, the chart shows an upward trend. The 50-day simple moving average sits at 525, while the 200-day simple moving average sits at 404. The 50 is above the 200. And Cleanspark's moving averages show an upward trend, indicating positive sentiment and potential for further growth. And according to this article, in conclusion, Cleanspark's recent positive ratings from equities research analysts reflect growing confidence in the company's prospects. With a focus on sustainable infrastructure development for Bitcoin mining operations and provision of data center services, Cleanspark is well positioned to ride the wave of continued interest in cryptocurrency. Investors are advised to keep a close eye on the stock prices and performance indicators as they evaluate the potential investment opportunity. And looking down here at their financial health, according to this article, everything looks good except for price to earnings ratio is saying sell. That's because they don't have a positive price to earnings ratio. They aren't making a profit just yet. But in a previous video, I did go over how they're only $14 million away from a profit. And potentially this next earnings, the quarter we're in right now, we might even see a profit if Bitcoin was to go up just a little bit in price. For example, if Bitcoin was at $35,000 to $37,000, they would have posted a profit in their earnings they just reported. So I do think profitability is just on the horizon, and if you want a little bit more detail on that, consider checking out my last Cleanspark video if you haven't. Now looking at some analyst ratings, we have H.C. Wainwright with an analyst that's nearly a 5-star top analyst right here, and they're giving it a $14 price target with a buy. BTIG, $10 price target with the buy. Chardon Capital, remember that was an 11 now. TipRanks needs to update this. And looking at how these analysts have performed actually, you'll see that the lowest rating analyst among this group actually has the best success rate with Cleanspark. 5 out of 6 of these ratings have actually generated profit with an average return of 55%. Now H.C. Wainwright, one of the top analysts in this group, 71% of these ratings have generated profit, or 5 out of 7 ratings with an average return of 70%. And while I don't recommend blindly following analysts, it is definitely good to know that these analysts that have actually listened to Cleanspark's earnings call and even were, participating in the Q&A, most of these analysts have given higher price targets. That is always a good sign. But of course, you don't want to just blindly follow them. This is just more data to kind of back up your own thesis. In a minute here, I'll leave you guys with the last part of the earnings call in the Q&A. To me, one of the best questions asked and one of the best answers given regarding their 16 exahash target. But first off, let's take a look at the chart. We are still in a very nice uptrend. We are trading both above the 50 and 200 MA, and a push roughly only $1 higher would bring us to our previous resistance at about 750. And we're looking good on the EMAs as well. They are in a bullish order. The 50 is on the top, the 200 is on the bottom, and the current share price is above all the EMAs. And we've also been seeing increased volume as the price has been going higher. Plus, I did want to mention again the outlook here. Next quarter, or the quarter we're currently in, we are expecting 57.7 million in revenue. Last quarter, we saw 45 million in revenue, so we're expecting right around a $12 million increase in revenue. And if their expenses were the same as the quarter that was just reported, this would bring them extremely close to profitability. Now, it's very possible that they have higher expenses this quarter as they get more machines online, need more energy from that, maybe more employees, so there needs to be more money going to employees. So they might see some higher expenses, but regardless of that, the revenue is going to soon outgrow the expenses, and they will soon be turning a profit. And that's just with Bitcoin at $30,000. If Bitcoin were to move to 35, 37 or dare I say 40,000, I'm very confident that Cleanspark would be pulling in a profit there. And it is my opinion that Cleanspark will see profitable quarters, maybe not the current quarter we're in. I do think it's a very close call, but I do think next quarter we will start seeing them pulling in profits. And I do think despite the price running up a bit lately, you know, when you look over the last couple months, I still think it is screaming buy, and we're just looking at a matter of time until we get into the next Bitcoin bull run and subsequent Cleanspark bull run. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll finish this video out with that part of the Q&A that I mentioned. Hope you enjoy.
And we will take our next question from Josh Siegler with Cantor Fitzgerald. Your line is open.
Congrats on getting the 16 exahash fully funded. I think that's quite an achievement, so congratulations on that. It actually ties into my first question, which is, you know, with the 16 exahash fully funded now, what do you view as the major risks to actually achieving that 16 year-end target? How do you plan on best managing for things such as transportation of rigs and actually installing the rigs to make sure you can still hit the 16 exahash by year-end? Thanks.
Hey, Josh, thanks for joining the call. Appreciate the thoughtful question on this. You know, what we focus on is what we can control. And we've been planning on this for many months. So let me address the rigs first, and the miners, I should say. The miners are going to arrive months in advance is our intention. So we expect, you know, if you look at that 45,000 unit order, which will be the majority of what goes into that site, it's an August and September batch, which means they should be shipped late August, early September. And so at that point, it's just a matter of how quickly the planes can get on the ground. So I really would expect that we should have all 45,000 of those machines stateside, realistically by the end of October. On an outside case, it should be, you know, the first week or two in November. Now, from there, it comes to infrastructure. So our infrastructure is well on track to be ready ahead of time. With the minute that we have shelves available, you know, optimally, we're storing miners for a very short period of time, and then we're putting them right onto shelves and ready to go. So everything we control between the rigs and the infrastructure, all the long lead time items have already been ordered, under contract. We have all the contractors secured. So all of that's taken care of. The risk to us are the things we don't control. That can, of course, be, you know, utility timing or anything that relates to their side. As of right now, we feel good about the trajectory that things are going. Now, of course, we can help in some ways, you know, along the process, and we're going to continue to do so to make sure that we get there as quickly as possible. But, you know, when the power's there, it still does take time to turn the machines on. If you've paid attention to what happened with our recent 50 megawatt expansion, you know, it took us about 10 days to get, 12 days to get all those machines turned on hashing. And that just comes down to the fact that we're working with a whole lot of power. You know, it's not like flipping a light switch when it comes to 50 or 150 megawatts of power. So for us to kind of sum that up, we're going to try and have everything we can control ready early, and that way we have plenty of buffer room on our side of the equation.